Hello, this is Mark Zabatella from Outside Shore Music. In this video, I'm going to talk about some strategies for singing the inner parts, the inner voices, alto and tenor, in a four-part arrangement. And I'm going to say that's not me, right? I'm a bass, and I'm also not really a singer. So my strategies are my strategies. These are strategies of someone who doesn't do this often, but maybe needs to every once in a while. Those of you who are actual altos or actual tenors and do this a lot, maybe you've got your own strategies that work well for you as well. But let me give you some of my insights. A lot of it is still going to come from my perspective as someone who likes to understand the theory of what's happening. So I'm going to be looking at the chord that's happening and understanding my role within the chord. And I'm also going to really stay focused on the tonic triad as much as possible. So I'm looking at the kind of standard hymn arrangement, O Little Town of Bethlehem, and we're in the key of F. And I should be able to sing these in relatively close to, well, I won't really hit the high G there, but I'll be able to hit a lot of this in the octave it's supposed to be in. So I'm gonna do that for the tenor part at least, and then we'll see about the alto. So I'm looking at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do, re, mi, fa, sol. There's my little warm up. Not a singer, so that's all the warm up I need. And I see a little town of, and then there's a little bit of chromaticism. Bethlehem. If I have any doubt about where that F sharp is, I want to nail the G. Little town of Bethlehem. 1, 2, do, re, right? Little town of somewhere between Bethlehem, and then I make it to the G. You don't want to overshoot the G. In my experience, that's going to be the easiest mistake to make when there's anything chromatic happening. These half steps in between your scale tones, is that you're going to overshoot something. So have your eye on that goal. So little town of Bethlehem, and then up how still. I mentioned tonic triad. 1, 3, 5. Do, do, do. Still we see thee lie above thy. And then there's a D. And I don't know exactly how high that D is. I think I have an idea, but I'm going to sing the tonic triad first. Above the dum, and then D is up there right above the C. So above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the sigh. And again, I'm thinking 1, 3, 5, silent. There's a half step. It's easier to get those neighbor tones, I find, than the passing tones, because the passing tones you got to sing 2 half steps in a row. You got 2 chances to overshoot it, and with the neighbor tone, if you overshoot it, you're gonna get it back you're gonna get it right on the way back. That's the way I look at it. So silent, 1, 2, 3, silent. Stars, 1, 3, 5, go by. And now it gets a little more fun. Yet in thy dark streets. Now, first of all, there's a B flat on streets, but we have B flat in the key signature. What's going on? Well, it's a courtesy accidental, and it's not even a courtesy accidental because there was a natural in the previous measure. No, in fact, there was a B flat right before it. Is this B flat really necessary there? No, it is not. However, if it weren't there, I would really be looking at this. Again, my theory brain would be seeing G sharp, B, D, F. G sharp diminished triad. And I would actually possibly think of that B flat as a B natural, because that's what would be the more usual case for that type of chord. As it is, we actually have, technically, it's like an augmented sixth chord that's inverted. There's some more theory for you. But so anyhow, that B flat I think was placed there just to second guess anyone who might have thought it was supposed to be a B natural. But now knowing it's a B flat, I got to make that jump from the B flat to the C sharp. So I want to think about, well, why is that happening? And well, typically that's because I'm going to D minor, and in fact, you can see the D coming in the next bar. So yet in the dark. Thinking back to the A, D is gonna might be D, C sharp, A, B flat, C sharp. And I'm imagining the D to come. That C sharp luckily doesn't go up to D. It gives me C sharp, A, and then it jumps down to that D. All right. My goal isn't to take you through the whole piece, is give you more insight into the types of things that I'm thinking about while I'm trying to sing this. I'm not a tenor. You hear me straining all over the place. I'm not going to try that alto part. That's going to be ridiculous. I can see that already. But thinking about this chromaticism, thinking about where I am relative to that scale degree 1, 3, 5 tonic triad, these are the things that you especially need to think about when it comes to those inner voices, the alto and tenor, because they're going to be a little less predictable in other ways, right? The melody is a melody, and it's going to have its own resolutions that kind of make sense as melodies do. Bass parts make sense because you're singing roots of chords, and it's going to make sense that way. It's these inner voices that are going to have these kind of oddball intervals a little more that are maybe not quite so singable unless you think them through. So maybe you found that useful. Again, maybe you've got your own techniques for doing it, but I wanted to show you some of the things that I would think about if I were actually having to do that.